Hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to those that are joining us on Facebook. Welcome to those that are joining us on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Just gonna give everyone some time to come in. Make sure that you can hear me and see me all right. Let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Let me know what part of the application process you're in, and whether you're taking the LSAT this weekend. How do you best prepare the night before or even the week before your LSAT exam? For those of you who are new and just joining us, my name is Sydney Montgomery. I am the CEO of S. Montgomery Admissions Consulting, and I specialize in working with first generation and minority law school applicants. I am so excited today to be talking to you about what to do before your LSAT exam. So we're going to cover a few points. We're going to talk about what you can do to get your mindset right the week before your LSAT exam. We're also going to talk about what you actually need to practically do the week before your LSAT, or even a couple of days before your LSAT exam, in order to ensure success. And then we're going to talk about the night before the test. I know that some of you are taking the test today. Some of you are taking the test tomorrow, all the way through Tuesday. So we're going to talk about what to do the night before the test. And then we're going to talk about test day. What is your mindset for test day? How do you make sure that all of the hard work, all of the preparation that you have been doing up until this point is going to pay off and is not going to get boggled down or distracted or thrown off by your mindset? So, where to begin? It's the week before your LSAT for some of you. For some of you, it's only a few days out. And you might be wondering, how do I best go about preparing for this thing that I've been studying for months? Like, now that we're down to the wire. So one of the first things I want to emphasize to you is that the LSAT is a skills-based exam. What does that mean? It means that it's not a memorization test. You know, I don't know how many of you took spelling bees in school. I am not the world's greatest speller, full disclosure. But I remember doing spelling bees in school, and you would be like cramming right up to it. Or, you know, as I got older and I no longer did spelling bees because I realized I was not very good at spelling bees, I had karate exams. And I remember the night before every single karate exam. So I'm a black belt in Tung Sudo, and I have a red belt in Taekwondo. I know I don't exactly look like I would be doing a bunch of martial arts, and it doesn't really fit the law school theme, but martial arts is really cool. And if you haven't tried it, it's never too late to try. Actually, you know, I have a lot of close friends of mine that like picked up martial arts in their adulthood, and it's been very rewarding, very fulfilling. So just shout out to martial arts. I don't know how many of you practice, but let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. But I remember as a kid, right before every belt exam, I wanted to just go to sleep and relax. But instead, I would be staying up doing all of the forms in my room until like midnight. And like I would be dreaming about these forms, just going it over and over and over and over. And then we'd get to the test, and I would be running through, okay, do I know the forms? Same thing, I was a dancer. I've lived many lives. But, you know, when you have a dance competition or anything like that, you're also, you know, thinking through, running through all the steps in your head. The LSAT is not like that. The reason why we have these rituals of running through all the steps in our head beforehand is because we don't want to forget anything, because we want to remember exactly the way that we've practiced it. But there's a big difference between a memorization type test and a skills-based exam. A skill is not something you can learn overnight. The good news is a skill is also not something you can forget overnight. You know that old saying, you'll never forget how to learn to ride a bike. And, you know, even if you're a little rusty, if it's been a while, it comes back to you. It's that muscle memory. So that's what I really want to make sure that you are focused on. The LSAT it's muscle memory. It's in you. You know how to do the logic games. You know how to do the question types. You know the strategies for your reading comprehension. And you just need to exercise them. And in order to have the maximum amount of being able to perform how you studied wherever you are in your studying, whether you're PTing at 140, PTing at 170, wherever you are. In order to have that kind of experience like you've been practicing, you need to get your mindset right. Because what can block a skills-based exam is anxiety, doubt, insecurity, hesitation, second guessing yourself, not having confidence. Those are all the things that will trip you up in a skills-based exam because they're standing in the way of your autonomic muscle memory, the brain memory, the things that you have been doing and preparing for this entire time. So I like to, first off, just remind myself, when I was taking the LSAT, which is like 7-8 years ago at this point, but when I was taking the LSAT, you just need to remind yourself, I know this. I know it. I did not forget it, right? I know it. I know how to do this. This is not memorization. This is skills, and I know it. And then you want to be working on how can I calm my mind? Because whenever we get close to a big event, naturally we have that anxiety. And you want to figure out how you can quell your anxiety. And how you do that is by whenever you feel that anxiety coming up on you during the week, you practice techniques to make it go away. You practice some breathing exercises. You practice some visualization or some meditation or some mindfulness, or you say a prayer. Whatever it is that you need to do as you feel the anxiety throughout the week, that's going to build a new kind of muscle memory. That's going to build a muscle memory of, hey, when I feel anxious, I do insert technique here, and then I feel calm. So when I get to the test, I will have practiced that all week long. And when I get to the test and I start to feel anxious, I will do whatever my technique is. Maybe it's, some people like to squeeze their hands like 10 times, or, there's a whole bunch of different techniques that you can do. But maybe whatever it is, I like to do that in the test quickly because it's a time test. But you'll have some quick things. Okay, I can take my 3 quick deep breaths, get calm, refocused, and continue on. So that is one of the things that you can be practicing the days leading up to your LSAT exam. Now, the second point that I wanted to talk to you about was just practical steps to take the week before, right? And for me, when I was taking my LSAT, it was at, I think it was at Ryder and in New Jersey. And so I had never been there. And I just like to practice exactly like I'm going to do something. I had a 7th grade teacher that said, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Cool. So if you've been working with me or you've been following me for a while, I'm not an LSAT tutor. But I do have some study tips and habits that I think are very important. And one of those is to take the practice tests the exact same time if you can. I know it's hard with scheduling, but the exact same time in the exact same room with the exact same breakfast or socks or pajamas or workout gear or whatever it is that you're going to be wearing and eating and feeling and at what time. You want to make sure that you are having the exact same experience every time you take the test, because that is also building muscle memory and that will also calm some of the anxiety. And so for me, that looked like driving out at least once. I only did it once, but I drove out to the test center so that I wasn't experiencing, test day jitters, and also trying to figure out where I was going on Google Maps, because that is just one way to wreck you, right? If you're like, oh my God, what if the road is closed, or what if, I take a wrong turn? So I drove out, and I think the people there looked at me like I was crazy, but I sort of walked around, sort of looked, opened some doors, okay, this is the study hall. This is what it looks like. Now I can visualize it when I'm taking my last practice test this week. I can say, okay, I know what it's not like this, unknown, scary anxiety thing, because anxiety also comes with the unknown. So now that the LSAT is at home and we're doing LSAT Flex, or it's not even real Flex anymore, this August test is the first just LSAT, just at home, with the 4 sections, right? One of them is experimental. I don't love a good experimental section. That's a little unknown. But what you can do is you can figure out, does my equipment work? Do I know that everything is going to be okay with the proctor? They have a website, and I'll try to put the link in the description, where you can actually test out your computer software with the proctor about the night before the test. So you want to be doing all of those things, making sure that your internet is strong. If you need to buy an Ethernet cable, buy an Ethernet cable. This is not the time for your Wi-Fi to cut out. Where are you going to put your cell phone during the exam? Are you going to keep it in the room? Are you going to have it on silent? Do you know how to silence your phone? Like super silent, not even vibration, airplane mode, all that good stuff. I mean, I know it's 2021, so probably everyone knows. But I think it's just worth mentioning, like, do you know where everything is? Do you know how to handle the new 10-minute intermission break situation? You want to make sure that logistically you are ready to take the exam, that you have everything that you need, that if you have accommodations granted, you know how they're going to work, that there are no surprises technologically on test day, because you don't want to worry about your computer or your internet or any of that stuff. You just want to take the test, right? And so that is what I want you to focus on. Getting all those logistics out of the way, those practical things out of the way. Now, I subscribe to the model that you should probably stop taking practice tests about 3 days before the LSAT, and I don't think that you should study the night before the LSAT. So going to that third point, what do I do the night before the LSAT? Relax. If you don't know it, by the time it's the night before your LSAT, you probably won't know how to do it. And that's okay. That's okay, right? The doors can be open for you for where you want to go to law school or for your legal career. Kind of, it's not dependent on your LSAT score. I always tell my students, you are more than a number. You are more than an LSAT score. So perhaps, you don't get the score that you want. Either you can take it again, or we can relook at your school list. There are fantastic schools up and down the rankings. And really, depending on what you want to do, the rankings might not even be, and generally speaking, they just aren't the most important factor for you to be thinking about. But I say all this to say that really the night before the test is for you to calm your mind. So what did I do the night before my LSAT exam? Well, again, it's back in the old days. So I was running around collecting my little pencils in my Ziploc bag, which you don't have to do. But I was making sure that I had all my sharpened pencils in my little Ziploc bag, and I had gotten an analog watch because I didn't own any of those. So I went to Walmart and got it's like an awful, like, puke green. It was like the only watch that they had. So I got that, I acquired that, and made sure I had all my IDs and everything like that. And then I just had a good old-fashioned Holy Ghost dance party. Like, I just blasted some gospel music. I read a lot of prayers. I just really surrounded myself with positivity. And maybe you're not religious and that's not your thing. So, like, have an actual dance party. Have a virtual dance party. You might be like, Sydney, I'm taking the LSAT tomorrow. Yes, have a virtual dance party. Go get some friends on Zoom. Like, dance it out. Feel good about yourself. Don't go into this test feeling scared and feeling insecure and feeling stressed. That's just not a good mindset to go into the test. Get you some friends. Throw on whatever you want. If it's Spice Girls or, I don't know. I'm like not the best person to ask about music. Beyonce, whatever it is. If it's Nicki, if it's whatever gets you hype. Like, really hype. My coach really likes Unstoppable. I think that's a fantastic hype song. But whatever it is that's going to be like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to crush the LSAT. That's what I want you to do. Maybe it's watching some of your favorite TV shows that just put you in a good mood. Or maybe it's talking to a loved one or a friend that's always encouraging. Do something that makes you laugh. Do something that makes you become filled with joy. I want you to go to bed with a smile on your face the night before the LSAT. You will not, I promise you will not forget everything if you do not cram it all in right before you sleep and then cram it all in right before you take the test. You have to have confidence that you know this. You got it. You know it. It's in you. And I just want you to enjoy the process, as crazy as that sounds. But you have really accomplished something so amazing by even sitting for this test. By even sitting for this test, you might be your ancestors' wildest dreams. How proud are you of yourself? You have done it. You may need to take the test again. You might not get the score that you want, or you might. But you have come so far on this journey, and I want you to congratulate yourself for that. And I want you to give yourself a moment of fun, a moment of relaxation, a moment of calm that will really carry you into the test. Because how awesome would it be to walk into the test and sit down like, all right, LSAT, I got this. You don't got nothing on me. I want you to have that kind of attitude. Just like be boss mode all over it, right? Like that's how I felt when I took the LSAT. I had my little fuzzy socks and they went in my Ziploc bag, right? So it was a cold room. So I had my little fuzzy socks. But I was just like, okay, LSAT, okay. And at the end I was like, hey, we did it. It's done. I knew I was not taking it again. Also, back when I took it, they used to average scores, so it really wasn't as advantageous to take it again. They don't do that anymore, thank God. But, I knew that we were done. I wasn't taking it anymore. Whatever happened, happened. And I will tell you, I always tell people, I went to Harvard Law School. I did not get above a 170. I got a 169. I was very happy with my 169. I was going to apply with my 169, and again, whatever happened, happened. I got into 10 out of the 12 schools that I applied to. I got into most of the top 10 at the time and some regional schools. And like I always say, you're more than your number. This is one part of a larger process. Do not forget that you still have essays. Do not forget that you have other things that are going to carry you and make an impact for the admissions committee. And so I don't want you to just get totally fixated on this number, on this process, and forget everything else about your law school application journey. Now, you can probably imagine what I'm going to say, but the last point is, how can you deal with your mindset on test day? This is very important. Your mindset on test day should actually be your mindset for every practice test, because you should be doing exactly what you do for every practice test on test day. So I am crazy, and I actually had undiagnosed ADHD at the time. And my biggest issue with the LSAT, it was 5 sections. My biggest issue is that I was just get too tired. It was just like not stimulating enough, and I just wasn't like able to like really carry myself, especially if the experimental was like reading comprehension. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't fall asleep. It's the LSAT, right? So I was not a big coffee drinker, but I was a big Red Bull drinker. But I also learned that Red Bull made me a little jittery sometimes. So you don't have to be as neurotic as me. But like in the morning, I had half a cup of coffee and half a can of Red Bull. Okay. And then again, we had snacks because it was a 5 section and it was in person. So I had gone through the store a few weeks before and figured out, like protein bars were a good snack because they kind of picked me up, and I needed that. So I had my little I don't even know what kind of bar it was at this part, maybe a Luna bar or whatever. I had my little chocolate bar, protein bar, and I had the second half of my Red Bull can, right? And that was kind of my ritual. So even on test day, I just went through my ritual. Okay, I had my half cup of coffee, I had my half can of Red Bull, cool. Then, I did the same exact things that I do mentally. If you're taking practice tests, the practice test might be 3 hours. I want you to give yourself at least half an hour, if not an hour before the test, to figure out what is my mindset before I take my practice test. Because then that will be your mindset before you take the real test, that 30 minutes to 1 hour beforehand. So that part, I'm not going to tell you to sing gospel music or run around your house, because that part should be exactly the same as it is for every single practice test that you take. You want to tell your body, hey body, this is just like last weekend, 4 days ago, the week before. This is not special. Body, do not have extra adrenaline, do not have extra anxiety. This is the same. It's the same. Especially because you're taking it at home. It really can be the same. I wasn't taking it at the university every single weekend, but you can take it at the same exact chair, the same exact desk. Yeah, there's a person. The person's not there. The proctor, he's new. But we can kind of try to, ignore him or ignore her, and just focus on what you normally do. So, to kind of recap, right? What do you really need to make sure that you're protecting as you go into the final days or week before your LSAT exam? You need to protect your mindset. The LSAT is a skills-based exam. What that means is that you are not likely to forget the skills that you have learned that week or that night before. You have all of the knowledge that you need right inside of you. It is not a memorization test. It is a skills-based exam. But what that does mean is that your mindset is critically important. You want to be building the muscle memory of calming yourself down when you feel anxiety. So the week before the test, you want to be thinking, okay, I feel this anxiety. What are my breathing techniques? What are my meditation? Real quick, right? You don't have time for a 10-minute meditation in the middle of the LSAT. What are the little tactile tricks? Am I gonna, squeeze my hands? Am I going to do some, visualization? Whatever it is that you can do very quickly whenever you feel that anxiety that week going up to the LSAT, so that if you do have that feeling during the LSAT of, oh my God, I just blew that game. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna do my little breathing. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna move on. I don't want one mistake or one passage you don't understand or one game you don't know how to set up to ruin the rest of the exam for you. So it's so important that you're working on mindset, you're working on quelling anxiety, you're working on, keeping yourself calm, keeping yourself focused. I don't know how many times I can tell you guys about the Mindfulness for Academic Achievement course. I'll make sure to put the link in the description. It's $17. If you're just starting your LSAT journey, or if you're taking October, this is a great supplement. It's $17. But it's a great supplement to your studying, just 5 or 10 minutes a day, learning how to infuse mindfulness. I also have the podcast Mindful Prayers for Students. So that is also another way that you can try to infuse some mindfulness into your daily life, into your weekly routine. Now, you also want to make sure that practically you are looking at your hardware, you're getting your Wi-Fi set up, you have an Ethernet cord, you are making sure that you've tested your computer software with ProctorU, you're making sure that you have logistically everything that you need, that you're in a quiet area, that all the logistics of taking the test are taken care of so you don't have to focus on that during test day. The night before the test, don't stress so much about cramming, but really focus on how can I go into the test with as much joy and as much confidence and as much enthusiasm and, just pride for how much you've done. How can you infuse that into your mindset the night before the test? Have a dance party, listen to worship music, sing some songs, whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself in a positive, encouraged, uplifting moment. And the last thing is that the day of the test should feel like every other practice test, because you have been practicing exactly the way that you'll take the test. So there are really no surprises. And it will feel like just regular routine to you. So you're going to get into the same mindset that you did for the rest of your practice tests and have that kind of calm. Now, for those of you that missed it, last night I led a prayer for the August LSAT that is on my YouTube channel. We streamed it live. If you have prayer requests, you can always submit them to bit.ly/breakintolawschool. You can also submit all of your admissions questions to bit.ly/breakintolawschool. I love answering people's questions on the podcast, so please ask me anything. It's totally for free, so ask not, receive not. But I hope that those really helped you just find peace as you are focusing on this home stretch. You have been preparing for this for such a long time. I want to see you be successful. So, before we end, are there any questions? Let me know in the comments. I'm just going to look to see if you guys have questions on anything. Okay, I don't see any questions. Just going to give it one more moment. You are so welcome. I see a comment that says thank you. You're so welcome. Okay, so then I will close us out in prayer. As a reminder, if this was helpful to you, make sure that you share this with a friend because sharing is caring. Like this video, like this episode, subscribe. Make sure that you're subscribed to Break Into Law School. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We're going to be putting out, 1 or 2 videos for that. And for those of you that are listening carefully, on Monday we will be doing a special giveaway, if you will. I will be leading a free workshop next weekend on your personal statement. Completely for free, completely live. So you will see all of those details. They will drop on Monday in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, you are missing out on free things. So you can find the link to my Facebook group on my website, law.smontgomeryconsulting.com. Join the Facebook group. Check out the link for the free workshop that we'll be having next weekend for your personal statement. I'm going to go through all the fundamentals of what you need to do in order to have a strong foundation and a strong personal statement. You really don't want to miss this. And there will be a special gift, a special sale discount. I won't tell you on what yet, but if you're looking for guidance on your personal statement, this is a workshop you really don't want to miss. So definitely be on the lookout for that, because I want to make sure that you guys are all set for your essays. They are so important. They're so crucial to your application. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And if you are just getting started on the process and you don't really know what to do, make sure you get a copy of my free essential guide to applying to law school. You can find that also on my website. You can find that in the Facebook group, my email signature. It's pretty much everywhere. It's 62 pages of pure goodness. I want to make sure that you are totally set up for your successful application cycle. All right, guys, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to come to you and say thank you. Thank you for bringing us this far. Thank you for giving us a spirit of confidence, a spirit of encouragement, a spirit of hope and peace. I just ask that you be with everyone this weekend who is taking the LSAT, everyone who's taking the LSAT next week as well, that you will give them confidence, that you will remove any anxiety and doubt and insecurity, that you will lift them up and empower them with your goodness and your support, that they would feel like they are not on this journey alone, but that they have a support of an entire village behind them. I pray for discernment, for answers. I pray for wisdom. I pray for speed. I pray for open doors, because I know that actually, while this test is important, if you have called them to a certain school, that this test cannot stop them from getting there. We know that medians are only 50%, and that 50% of everyone in a median, 50% of people at that school scored lower than that median. And so I know that that means that even those students with low scores, you open the door for them to go to that school. And so I ask that you would just remind everyone listening that they are more than a number. They are more than just their LSAT score, that their GPA and their LSAT do not define their worth or their capabilities as a lawyer. But I ask that you would just remove some of the pressure that they may be placing on themselves this weekend. And I ask that you would allow them to have an abundance of joy, an abundance of pride in how far they've come, and an abundance of wisdom on this test. I ask that you would be with the computers. I ask that you would be with the proctors, that you would be with the technology, that there would be no computer malfunctions, that there would be no internet issues. Jesus, I'm praying for the Wi-Fi right now, that you would hold the Wi-Fi strong, that you would send an Ethernet cord if we need one, that you would just send provision for this exam, that you would make the room quiet, that you would remove distractions, that you would allow them to be in the right mindset in order to have the best testing experience that they can have. I ask all this in your son Jesus' precious name. Amen. So guys, thank you so much for being here with me on another Friday. I believe in you. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for your LSAT journey. And I know that you're going to absolutely crush it. And even if it doesn't go exactly the way that you want it, I know that it's not going to block your blessings and it's not going to stop you from achieving your dreams as a lawyer. I can't wait to talk to you guys next time.